I had a dream recently. In this dream, it was very vivid. I was in this, it was dreary outside, gray, like there's something wrong with this sky. And I was in this, it felt like a place of insanity, almost like a mental institution. All kinds of crazy things were going on in the hallways. All kinds of people were suffering and confused in a number of different ways. And I got out of the hallways and I went into, I was about to try to jump a fence or whatever, but there was a courtyard that kind of split. It's kind of a U-shaped building, and there was a courtyard. And I was about to go for the fence and try to get out and get away. And I noticed that there was this Hispanic man, looked like a Hispanic guy, definitely a Native American in him. And there was a tree in the courtyard, a big old tree, no leaves, looked, could be dead or just winter, unsure. Big tree though, in the courtyard. The man was sitting against the tree, and something made me stop. And I went over to the man sitting under the tree. And when I asked him this question, what I'm about to tell you, it's almost like I was reaching out with my energy and I was feeling the land underneath my feet, and it felt black, but not black in the way that, like, fertile earth, or black, and not black in the sense of color. It was, there's something wrong, something corrupt, something wrong with the land, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I I kind of knelt down beside this person. I'm like, what's wrong with this place? What's wrong with all of this? And he looked up, he was looking down, he looked up, and he looked at me and he said, grandfather's spirit is angry. And I asked him, I said, who's grandfather's spirit? And he smiled, and I asked him again, who is grandfather's spirit? And then he looked at me and said, Shango. And then I said, oh, Shango. And I have no relation to this spirit. But when I said, oh, Shango, and then I started dancing around the tree, dance I'd never done before. Something it just told me to dance around this tree, and I started, I started chanting out Shango, Shango, Shango as I danced around the tree. And at the base of the tree, in the trunk, the upward-facing star formed. And then what looked like a veve, crossing lines kind of hatched, formed all the way around the tree. And I just kept dancing and chanting around the tree, Shango, Shango, Shango. And that's all I remember from the dream. But, I've worked with, in Vodou, with the Loa. Not really Orishas as much. So, similar traditions, of course. Never worked with Shango, only heard about him. And, I looked up, I'm not the one asked to educate you on Shango, but I did look up some things, and, kind of a spirit god of the Yoruba people. Once again, these facts are just new to me. I could be wrong about all this. I'm not the person to ask about Shango. But, this said that he was a great king for the Yoruba people. And I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but he was a king for the Yoruba people. Very strong, known for his booming voice, able to convince people of things. Very strong, had a double-headed axe. Some pictures I see two axes put together. And a king from another land defamed him before his people, and his people lost faith in him. And it hurt him so badly that he hung himself from a tree, apparently, in this story. This is just one that I looked up. I don't know, I haven't heard many stories. And he hung himself from this tree, and then apparently some of the Yoruba, many, believe that he ascended and became a kind of a god spirit. And he's the god of, voice, thunder, fire. Very much a spirit of fire, but not in the... We can't think of, the usual idea of, like, good and evil, fire, bad. Spirit of fire, of strength, courage, of protection. I know very little about this spirit. The spirit god, elemental being. And there's different stories about how, he came about or came to that station. I think some people believe he's always a god. Some people believe he ascended and became that. But something drove me to, of course, buy a little statue and start just making little offerings. And I'll show you here. Um, but I have a little shrine to Shango, prominent on top of my desk now. And I'm starting to work with this spirit. I think that so many dreams that we have, uh, honestly, are meaningless. This one felt, it's very crisp on my mind, and it felt important. Now, the 10% African I have in me, Senegal, Congo, and Bantu. Um, it, but it felt like some kind of genetic memory. I don't know. I think that it is, and I feel like it was an important dream. But my feelings could be wrong. But that's how I feel. And there's sureness about it. Well, once again, sureness can be wrong. Just because someone is sure does not mean they're incorrect, but they are correct. But I thought I'd just share this little experience with you and ask you about your experiences, whoever you are, whatever systems you work in, whatever dreams you have. Because I think this one was important to me, and it feels like it was important. So I'd love to hear about yours and anything that you know about Shango. I'm definitely open to learning about this spirit and working with this being. And I think I'm going to make his veve. Because when I looked up his veve as well, and some of the music I was listening to, it did have some cross hatches that I saw in the tree and I've never seen this veve before. Very interesting. At any rate, thank you very much for watching. I'd like to hear about Shango if you know anything about him. And I would like to hear about your dreams. But regardless, Shango, 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 Shango.